to the RunRX Podcast, where we talk about all things running. As many runners know, it's 90% mental. So join Coach Valerie and Coach Caroline as we go through the mental side of running.
Welcome back to the RunRX Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Caroline, and I'm here with Coach Valerie. Coach, there's a trend that's popular right now that we're seeing pop up, that we see people saying, run slower to run faster. And I know it seems like kind of an oxymoron, but explain what they're doing and what that means, and is it real?
Sure. So, and it's funny because popular, like trends come and go, right? So
Right.
the idea is to help people, get comfortable with just running, like a steady pace rather than trying to overexert every run, right? Instead of trying to go out and every run make it your PR, try to run your fastest, that you'll actually wear yourself out if you're always trying to run too fast. So that is the theory. So most running programs, most training plans, most coaches follow what's called like an 80-20 rule. And this is also very popular, which means do 80% of your workouts at like a talking pace, if you will. And they say slow, right? And then 20% of your workouts should be at a higher intensity. So you should challenge yourself. However, limit that challenge to maybe once a week, one really good higher intensity workout, and then the rest of the workout should be lesser intensity. So my challenge though with our runners is we don't really use the words slow and fast. And this is really cool because I think a lot of times when people think about running slower, they actually slow down their movement. Like they think running slow means I should move slower, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, if you do that, you're actually going to use more impact and more effort in your run, which is what you're trying to avoid. So we teach people, we talk about, we want to run. So let me go back just a second. This is the challenge in running, because what makes a run fast, slow, easy, or hard? Like what most people think of that would be their heart rate, right?
Right.
Their effort level, like how hard they think they're working. So like perceived effort, if you will. And then they can use the numbers on their watch, like how fast they actually were running, even their stride length, their cadence, because that's what we get into. So we talk about to help people, what is actually accelerating you in your run? Like, how do you actually travel forward in running? Like, what is speed? Like, that needs to be the first conversation, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
if I ask the average runner, just if I ask somebody, how do you run faster? Most runners say to me, I move my feet faster. That's usually the first answer I hear, or I reach, or I push.
I reach and push was or my arms. Isn't that a big one people say? Yeah.
Yeah, I swing my arms. There's a lot. So what you hear from people is that they think in order to run faster, there needs to be more muscular movements. And what that actually does, unfortunately, is it actually makes you feel like you're working harder, but you are, in fact, not running faster. So what we want to help people understand is that the way you accelerate in running is by free falling. And it's so cool because when you realize that all of us really can run the same in a sense at different speeds or different efforts, but still doing the same run, then what you'll actually find is that to run your run is helping you just find a fall you can hold. And that
exactly.
To us, that sounds simple. To the average person, they're like, what does that mean? And what I want you guys to hear, what I'm saying a little bit, is we all use gravity. We actually all fall. The challenge is we don't all know how to use it for our run. Most of us only feel falling when we're sprinting or trying to run fast because it feels fast and all these things are happening, right? So how do I take that same feel but bring the acceleration down? And that's so nice, guys. If you really work on just the running posture, which is the running pose, like how to stand while you run in place and then how to hold that while you run, it's so nice to be able to think to yourself, if I want to run faster, I just lift my body up higher. Yes, your foot will pull higher. Yes, your cadence will go up. So will your stride length. Those are all byproducts. So then the fun part is you can practice running at different angles of fall, and that's how you'll end up running faster or slower, or easier or faster. So we kind of teach the same thing, right, with RunRX, is we're always helping our runners feel just the running. So we use intervals, which would be like the 20%, if you will, or the harder or faster. And then 80% of our runs, what we have help people with is run, but run by feel rather than trying to run by how fast you're running. Instead, how do you feel? Could you hold this pace for 20 minutes? Or maybe you can only hold it here. And then helping someone find where they can hold, then they're like, oh, this is a comfortable hold. Okay, then that's your slow run, if you will, right? If you can stay there for a while. But what do we have the challenge of with most of our runners? And I think most people out there running is that teeter-totter. How do I maintain my run is what most people seem to get challenged by, right? They start too fast and then they go like most runners, this is why they tell people this. This is why this whole thing is so popular, is because the fear is for most runners, they go out too fast and they can't sustain it during their run. So then they tell, well, go slow. And I'm like, they don't need to go slow. It's still the same run. We still want to use muscle elasticity. So you still need to pick up your feet, guys. You're still running. It's just that you don't have to hold your body so high or hold your upper body so high that you're having to really go at a higher heart rate and breathe harder and all those things, that happen in your run. So we love the whole concept of the 80-20. I like. The challenge I have is, instead of using the words slow or fast, help someone feel how to hold a fall angle for that run.
Okay, so you kind of lost me there. So I'm thinking that I'm running slower, but really I'm just concentrating on holding that fall angle. Am I getting that right?
Right. So if I had you running in place, and this is, if you guys watch our videos, I really start I do these little videos where I do like a drill. And then I always pull in place, I run in place. The action of running is pulling. So the fun part is 3 elements of running: pose, fall, pull. So if I'm standing in the right pose, if I'm running, holding the right pose, right? We use the word pose instead of position, but it's a line. It's your ears over shoulders over hips. So when you guys are standing, everyone stands like that, or I hope so, holding your body in alignment, right? So if I want to run faster, if I want to run at a higher speed, then I need to take my upper body and lift it up. And then to be able to hold that, guys, takes a lot. It takes strength. It takes a high level of cardio. It takes a lot of coordination and accuracy. There's a lot of skill that goes into that. And what you want to do is get comfortable at holding that, right? And maybe you run for a short distance. So that's really building speed or understanding what speed is. But if you take off like that and you think, oh my gosh, I can't hold this, then instead of thinking I need to try to reach or push or move my arms, you start to learn how to just relax your upper body into the same hold you were doing just running in place. And you realize, oh, I can stay really more comfortable here rather than trying to hold at a place I can't be. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
People want to run faster. And if you think running faster is moving your legs more or pumping your arms, then you're just going to make yourself tired. You're going to assume that running faster is just moving your body parts. If you let yourself learn how to just run in place, pull, use that action of up, and really learn how to take your upper body, lift it up, gravity takes you forward. It's fantastic. And then you respond by pulling. And then your body responds by higher heart rate, by higher stride length, by higher all of that. But we have to first kind of recognize that you are in a relationship with your running with gravity. And that's how you set your pace.
Okay. And so for those people that are trying to do this, we're going to ask you to give this a try. See how this works for you. and then post on any of our social media channels. You can email us at support@runrx.fit and let us know. Are you able to not so much run slow to run faster, but are you able to find that place that you can hold your fall, and that by doing so, it does actually increase your speed? We'd love to hear back from you. And as always, subscribe to our channel. We are at all of the podcast stations, and you can now find our podcast, if you're so inclined, on YouTube. It's audio only, but a lot of people just like to hang out on YouTube. They're not big fans of, say, the podcast apps. And so feel free to go into our podcast on YouTube, and hopefully you will become a big fan. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us on the RunRX Podcast. If you'd like to know more, join us at www.runrx.fit. And if you have additional questions that you'd like answered on the podcast, email us at support@runrx.fit.